I just filmed my entire December wrap-up for 40 minutes and the footage was deleted. So this is where we're at. I'm gonna repeat everything I just said for 40 minutes again. So I hope you really enjoy and appreciate this video. Please subscribe for my effort and like this video because I'm struggling. Hey guys, it's Haley. Welcome to another bookish video. Really quickly before I start this wrap up, I just wanted to say thank you so much for 700 subscribers. The progress that I've made on this channel just in the past 6 months is really just a big accomplishment for me and I'm really proud of it. I love the little community that we have here on this channel and I'm so happy I have a place to talk about books because I love books so much and I love that you guys love books and I love that you guys like to hear me talk about the books that I read. So thank you so much for subscribing and being here and watching this video. I genuinely appreciate you guys so much and I hope for more growth and community in 2021. Also, really quick before we get into the video, I just wanted to shout out the earrings that I'm wearing in this video. They're so beautiful. These are actually from a local company here in Austin, so I will link the Etsy shop down below. It is Shop Lolly Jewelry, and I actually have a promo like referral link that I will link down below, and you can get 20% off. I don't get any percentage of that, so don't worry, you're not putting coins in my pocket. It is simply, you know, a discount code for me to give to my followers and subscribers. So I hope you guys will check them out because their stuff is really gorgeous. I mean, come on, look at this. So support a local business, use your Christmas money for good, and yeah, shop Lolly Jewelry because I love these earrings so much. Okay. So now let's get into the wrap up. I already did this, but let's go ahead and do it again. So I read 22 books throughout this month of December. I read 3 YA books and 19 adult books. I read a lot of YA in November and I needed a little bit of a break, so that's that. 4 of the books were written by male authors and 18 of the books were written by female authors. This is pretty par for the course for me. I've found that I really do not like books written from a male perspective. I can't relate to it. It's very difficult for me and it's really hard for me to enjoy a book like that. I tend to get bored or check out when I'm reading from a male perspective. So I mainly read books written by female authors or written by a male author that is a female perspective, but that is really tricky as well because a lot of times men do not know what goes on in our heads and they do it really poorly. So that is why that ratio is so skewed. As for the format, I read 15 of these books physically and 7 through audiobooks. My average rating across all 22 books was a 3.45 star, which is pretty low for me, and it just shows that even if you do read a lot of books, that doesn't mean that you're enjoying reading overall. So I'd rather read less books in a month and have my average rating be higher rather than, you know, I read 22 books. I read a lot of books, didn't we, Boba? Yes. And didn't enjoy them as much as I usually do, which just shows you that sometimes reading less books that are going to be 5 stars and taking your time to take them in is better than just speeding through 1 million books because you might not like all of them. I didn't have the greatest reading month even though I read a ton of books. Overall, I had 1 1 star, 4 2 stars, 6 3 stars, 6 4 stars, and 5 5-star books. As for the genre breakdown, I read 1 historical fiction, gonna pat myself on the back for that one, 11 mystery thrillers, 6 romances, and 4 contemporaries. So pretty good split between contemporary romance and thrillers with that 1 historical fiction in there. So now let's go ahead and wrap up all the books I read. I will go ahead and start with my 1 1 star and build up to my 5 5 stars. My 1 star book during the month of December was Holiday Grind by Cleo Coyle. I read this for my cozy Christmas reading vlog where I read a bunch of holiday themed books. If you missed it, I will link it here and down below. I had a lot of fun making that video. but I didn't have a lot of fun reading this book. It has a lot of problems, and if you want to hear me go in depth about it and read some of the Goodreads reviews, you can go ahead and watch that video. But basically, it had a lot of casual racism, a lot of glossing over of sexual harassment of our main character. Our main character did a lot of slut shaming of other women and herself, and it's obvious that the person who wrote this character either was intentionally making this character have a lot of internalized misogyny that has been unrecognized and she definitely needs therapy for, or it is unintentional and unfortunately the author has those problems. So I'm not going to give a synopsis of this book because I don't want to intrigue you to read it because it's really bad.
Moving on.
Now let's go ahead and get into my 2-star books. So first I read The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. I listened to this on audio while I was driving to Houston to visit my family for Christmas, and I was like, you know, I just need something quick, light, that I kind of like don't have to pay the most attention to. A YA mystery would probably work out good while I'm driving. And
why was it boring even though I was doing a million other things?
You know, like when you're driving, you have to pay attention to the road. You have to pay attention to the people around you, the speed limit, cops on the hunt to pull you over on these Texas roads. You know, if you drive on 290, there's gonna be cops waiting around every corner. So, you know, I had to pay attention, and yet I was still bored. I was still predicting, like I thought I had really figured out the whole entire thing. And it turns out that I didn't figure out the whole entire thing. But it was still bad. Like, my prediction that I made, if the reveal would have been what I predicted, I would have been like, okay, well, I predicted the whole thing. But it still would have been, like, a good reveal that made sense. When the killer was actually revealed, it was very lackluster. It didn't make a lot of sense. I was having trouble with it. Like understanding how everything connected, because I feel like it was just very boring going throughout the entire story, and then the end they like tried to like make it flashbang and it was just like not, it was very underwhelming. Oh my god, did I even tell you what this book is about? Sorry. The Cheerleaders follows our main character, who is, you guessed it, a cheerleader, and her older sister was also a cheerleader. And her older sister, 5 years ago, she took her own life in the wake of the murder of 4 of her best friends who were also cheerleaders. So now the younger sister, who is also a cheerleader, is looking into her sister and her friends' deaths because she doesn't think that her sister would have killed herself, and she also doesn't think that the murderer that got put away for the friends' murders actually did it. She thinks it's somebody else. So, you know, it's the typical YA mystery. She's investigating, and we're also getting a few chapters sprinkled in from the older sister's perspective, and I did really enjoy those chapters. But they were not the bulk of the book. The bulk of the book was following this main character who I really did not enjoy at all. I really didn't like her. Also, she was pregnant, and like that was like a big issue in the first like 5 chapters. Was like,
oh my god, gotta hide my morning sickness at school. How do I tell my mom that this baby doesn't belong to my boyfriend, but this baby actually belongs to a teacher that teaches at my school? Like, how do I do that?
And then like after those first 5 chapters, never talked about it again. Like the baby was not a thing. So I'm like, why is she pregnant? Like, what was the point of putting that in there? Like, yes, teen pregnancy rep, I guess, but like we didn't go over anything. Like it didn't do anything. It was just like, oh my god, yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant. And then it contributed nothing to the story. I was really confused. 2 stars. Another thriller that I was really highly anticipating, so I just went ahead and listened to the audio because I couldn't find it at Half Price Books or Barnes & Noble. I was looking all over for this book, and that is Our Kind of Cruelty by Araminta Hall. So this was kind of marketed to be like You by Caroline Kepnes, which is one of my very favorite thrillers ever because it's written in the second person point of view. So I really like that in a thriller, especially when you're following a very deranged, stalkerish perspective, which is what the main character in Our Kind of Cruelty was. His girlfriend broke up with him, and she's now getting married to another man. And he kind of can't process this in his mind because he is very deranged, a lot like Joe Goldberg in You. But he didn't hit like Joe hit. So basically, when these two were together and in a relationship, they played this game called The Crave, where they would go into a bar together and act like they weren't together, wait for the girl to get hit on, and then the guy would kind of swoop in and be like,
hey, that's my girlfriend.
And it just like turned them on. They really had a kick out of it. So he, in his deluded mind, thinks that her new engagement and wedding is like a larger scheme crave. And he thinks she's trying to communicate with him that she wants to get back together with him, and he needs to go to the wedding and break them up. Obviously, it's not true, and he's just deranged, but he wasn't a lovable and interesting type of deranged like Joe Goldberg, where he's just absolutely completely deluded, but you can kind of see where like he gets it wrong, and like you can kind of see where Joe's little psychopathic tendencies lead him astray, and he's kind of bumbling through life trying to come across as an emotionally competent person, even though he's definitely not. And that's what I like so much about Joe Goldberg's character. Yeah, no, that was not the case for our main character in this book, and that's why I rated it so poorly. It didn't make sense, and it seemed like kind of a poor ripoff and perception of a deluded stalker character. So I had really high hopes for it, and I wish it was better, but 2 stars. Also rated 2 stars was 5 Total Strangers. This is another YA mystery. I wanted to read it because, you know, it had the winter atmosphere, it had the snow, it had everything I was looking for. So I was really highly anticipating this book. I thought it was going to be a good winter read. No, turns out it wasn't. I was thinking this was going to be like a unwanted guest, one by one kind of situation. I love when unsuspecting strangers are all stuck together in an isolated setting. So that's what I was expecting, and I guess I just didn't know. I should have read like the synopsis more closely, because it definitely wasn't that. This girl's trying to get home for Christmas break, kind of like a no exit kind of situation, but on a plane. So her flight gets canceled. Well, she's in like a weird town, like she was trying to make a connection, and the flight that she was connecting to got canceled. So she ends up meeting up with a few other people whose flights also got canceled, and they're renting a car and trying to drive through a disastrous, horrible blizzard to get home to their respective towns. So it's not the isolated setting, it's in a car. I really tend to not like books that are set in a car, so this book just wasn't for me, okay? It thought it was gonna be something, it wasn't. I don't like books that are set in just a car. The reveals at the end were really weak, and I really saw it coming. Like, it did the thing where it's like you're really led to like one character, and then that character, surprise, ends up being the one that sucks and is the murderer. Like, why we gotta keep doing this YA mysteries? Why we gotta keep doing this format? It doesn't work. It's really bad. It's really predictable, and I don't like it. And the last 2-star book I read this month was The Chain by Adrienne McKenty. Y'all, I went through a journey reading this book, much like the journey that I went on when I read Goodnight Beautiful by Amy Malloy. That book was a 5-star until the end of like the first half, and then when it got to part 2, boring, horrible, shouldn't have been written, trash it, should have been a novella. This had that same thing. So the premise sounded really exciting, which was why me and 2 of my very best friends on BookTube decided to buddy read it all together. We were all in. We were very excited for this synopsis. It's a kidnapping chain. So one person's child gets kidnapped. To get their child back, they have to kidnap another child, hold them for ransom, tell their parents, and then the chain goes on and on and on. Sounds very interesting. The first probably third of the book where that was actually happening and we were in the midst of the kidnapping, it was very much action. I very much loved it, okay? It was great. It was wonderful. I was living. And then after, you know, we're in the midst of the chain, for the last like 2/3 of the book, it kind of sucks. Like, I don't think it was needed. I think it should have been a novella. And I think Jess, who I was buddy reading this with along with Caroline Johnson, Jess said something about this originally being a novella or like a short story, and then it got extended to be a novel. Girl, you should have left her alone. That's all I gotta say. Okay, now let's get into the 3-star books. Oh my god, I'm talking about these books for so long, but I just have a lot of thoughts. So get a snack, you know, we'll do a pause, play some Jeopardy music. We'll let you go get a snack and resettle in because wow, this is gonna be a long wrap up. I'm so sorry. Okay, 3-star books. Let's go ahead and start out with the 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. This was a fluffy little romance, a little bit boring, a little bit draggy, but has very much holiday vibes, which was what I was looking for. Very predictable, but I didn't, you know, hate it. It was just like here nor there, you know. I didn't care the most. I didn't not care. It was all right. It was boring. It was fine. That is how I feel about this book, which is a holiday romance, and it's about a woman who goes on 12 basically Tinder dates on the 12 days leading up to Christmas, trying to find her love. And they're all different cutesy little dates, but none of the men are really clicking, and they're quirky, and the dates keep falling apart. But then maybe her true love was there all along, you know? Very much like that. If you want to hear my full thoughts and see me reading this in a vlog, again, the Cozy Christmas Reading vlog, go watch it. I spent a lot of time making that video and it was really fun.
So watch it, even though I didn't love the books. Watch it.
And the 2 other books that I read in that video as well are also rated 3 stars, and that was The Snowman by Yo Nesbo. This is about a serial killer who his calling card is building a snowman, and it was really just way too long. The translation, it was translated from another language, I think like
Swedish or something, like Norwegian. Is that a language? I have no idea.
Like it was very wordy and verbose, and I was like, get to the point, bro. Like I can't. I know your reveals are good and this book is interesting, but it's taking me like 24 pages to get to your point. Like it was just way too wordy, and although the mystery was really effective, I didn't like my experience of reading it, so 3 stars. And the last book that I read in that video, again, go watch it, it's a fun little Christmassy time, was One Day in December by Josie Silver. I actually rated this a 3.5. I just rounded it down to a 3 for the sake of the categories in this video. I did like this book, but that's the thing, I just liked it, okay? I wasn't like fully invested. Everyone's saying
the drama in this book, the drama.
Okay, I was ready for the drama, and the drama just simply didn't measure up. Like I feel like there was more drama in a season, you know, that like horrible Netflix show that was like kind of boring, kind of weird and uncomfortable to watch.
All we've got to do is just keep our pants on.
That's like kind of how this was. It was like kind of boring, but also like there was drama happening, but I just didn't really care that much about it. So drama, to be effective and to be interesting to me, I have to care about why it's happening, and I just didn't really care that much. So the whole premise is that our girl, our main character, locks eyes with this man across a bus, but the bus pulls away, and you know, she never meets him, and so she's spending her whole life searching for bus boy, that's what she calls him, and she can't find him. It's so sad. And then her roommate and best friend introduces her to her new boyfriend, and surprise, it's bus boy. So she has to see their best friend's boyfriend, and there's a lot of cheating, and it's annoying, but it's dramatic. And then the end is like this cute little Hallmark ending, and I really did like that part, but then it's like, wait, whoa. I liked the end, but like that kind of came out of nowhere, so I'm confused, but I'm fine. It just reminded me of like Bachelor in Paradise, where there's all this drama going on and you don't really care. You're just kind of drinking wine and watching it all devolve into chaos. But then the last episode is like, oh my god, will you marry me? And it's like Hallmark, cute, breaking down in tears, sweet little ending. And I'm just like, what? It doesn't track, but I'm entertained. Did any of that make sense? I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, this one. This one. Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I want to throw this book in the trash. Goodbye. Now you're probably wondering,
Hailey, if you want to throw this book in the trash, why is it still rated 3 stars? Like, why wouldn't you just rate it a 2 or a 1 or DNF it or throw it in the trash? Like, why? Why is it not there?
okay, I see the merit. I see why people like this book. It's an effective love story. The emotions it's moving, okay? I felt the emotions. I did cry while reading this book. And I feel like that counts for something. But this book made me really angry, and I don't think the relationship in this book should be romanticized whatsoever. It is a friends with benefits to lovers situation. Very stereotypical. You know, the man doesn't want a commitment. The girl thinks she doesn't want a commitment. And then she gets into it, and she starts falling.
Oh no, I hope I don't fall. No.
She's like, you know what, whatever, like, maybe he'll, like, eventually love me. Girl, he's not gonna love you. Even though that's what happens in the book. Spoiler, sorry. But we all knew. It's fucking romance. It's not gonna happen. That doesn't happen in real life. Let me tell you from personal experience, it's not gonna happen. And I don't think this type of thing should be romanticized, because if I read this my senior year of high school, it would give me way too much hope that I should not have had in the first place. Okay, moving on. A Stranger in the House by Sherry Lapina. I have been reading a lot of Sherry Lapina's backlist lately. I'm trying to read all her books. I really enjoy her books, and I think they're underrated. They're just fun little thrillers. They don't have to be serious. They don't have to have these wild twists that come out of nowhere, Riley Sager style. They can just be, you know, a normal little domestic thriller and a good little murder mystery. It doesn't have to be that deep. So I've been really enjoying reading her books. But this one was just okay. I think this is my least favorite of all of Sherry Lapina's books that I've read so far. It follows a woman who gets in this crazy car accident. And the car accident happens right next to the scene of a murder. And she doesn't remember anything that happened. So she wakes up in the hospital and she's like,
Whoa, I did what? I crashed my car? How?
and she doesn't remember anything that led up to the moment that this happened. So we're also getting the husband's perspective, who's like really confused. He's like, my wife's got issues. Like, what's happening with this woman? Who the bleep did I marry, basically? And then there's also the thing of this murder, and they're like connecting her with the murder because she had the accident. They think she's pretending that she doesn't remember what happened in her accident, and she actually had something to do with the murder. So we're following the investigator, we're following the woman in the accident, we're following her husband, and we're also following the neighbor across the street, who is a nosy ass bitch and just wants to be in the middle of everything and is so annoying. Oh my god. So we have a lot of perspectives, a lot of things going on. We have the accident, we have the memory, we have the murder, we have secrets going on, we have neighborhood drama. Like, there's a lot going on, and I feel like, Sherry, I love you, girl. I love your books, but you should have picked a lane. I feel like this could have been done so much better if there was just one element just taken away. Okay, so that's my feelings about this book. Also, I did predict the ending, like, probably halfway through, so it wasn't the greatest reveal of all time. I also didn't like the motivations of, like, the reveal of what happened, but, you know, it was all right. It was a thriller. I don't feel like it was a waste of time. I had a good time. It was just, like, not the best. And then, finally, the last 3-star that I had this month was Olive, again by Elizabeth Strout. This is a short story collection about a grouchy old woman named Olive. It reminds me a lot of A Man Called Uva by Frederick Bachman. So if you like that, you would probably like the Olive Kitteridge series by Elizabeth Strout. This is the sequel, or I guess the follow-up to the original short story collection, which is just called Olive Kitteridge. This is Olive again. I didn't enjoy this one as much as the first story collection, which I will be talking about in my 4-star books, but this one was just a 3-star. I think it's because we're following Olive throughout her life, and in this book she is really, really old. It follows her from when she's about 75 to her death. So I didn't connect with a lot of the themes of old age, but I thought it was nice to get a sort of empathetic perspective into an older demographic, which I don't read about often. So I did enjoy that part of it, and it's also literary fiction, so it's written very beautifully. A lot of the ambiance and the descriptions were beautiful, so I did enjoy that part of it. What I liked better was the predecessor to this book, which I also read this month, Olive Kitteridge. I rated her 4 stars, and I did like this one a little bit better. There were a couple stories in there that on their own as like standalone short stories, I would rate them 5 stars. A lot of them were just coming at the right time. I don't know, like I would listen to this one on audio, and I would be like driving to go somewhere and listening to it, and like something very poignant that I like needed to hear would be in the story pertaining to my real life of like where I was driving to. Like And that happened multiple times throughout reading this book. I don't know, not to get like deep or whatever, but I feel like God just wanted me to listen to that at that time. Like, I don't know, he was speaking to me through this book. This is not a religious book. I don't know, that's just what I was feeling at the time. It was very weird. It was a little spooky. I don't know. So I really did enjoy this book a lot. Again, it's really beautiful, but it didn't give me that 5-star feeling. I don't think I've ever rated a short story collection 5 stars because there's always gonna be, you know, one story in there that's not perfect. So I feel like I couldn't rate it 5 stars, but I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it if you like short story collections or, you know, little bits and pieces of somebody's life, kind of like a Celeste Ng, Frederick Bachman kind of situation. Another 4-star book I read this month was Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This follows a babysitter who's kind of down on her luck, and she goes and takes a job with this bougie family where she can live on their guest house. All her expenses are paid for, so it's a great gig. The only problem is that the children burst into flames when they become agitated. So it's very quirky, it's very funny, it's very heartwarming, and I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. It was almost a 5-star, but it just wasn't quite there. I think it was a little bit too short. If I had a few extra chapters to kind of flesh out the ending, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more and maybe would have given it that 5-star. But if you want to see more vlogish kind of things and my thoughts reading it, I did read this for the Disney Channel Games Readathon, which I hosted with 7 other people on BookTube, so I will link that vlog somewhere everywhere. 2 other 4-star books that I read for the Disney Channel Games Readathon was The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. This is an isolated setting thriller, much like One by One by Ruth Ware, where there's a snowed in kind of vacation resort in the snowy mountains, and all these people get stuck there together and they get picked off one by one. You're trying to find the murderer. I absolutely loved this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I loved it. If you want my full thoughts, again, watch the vlog. And another 4-star was In a Holidays by Christina Lauren, which was our buddy read. So again, full thoughts, vlog, watch it. This is a time loop, Groundhog Day kind of situation. It's an adult romance. Obviously, it's by Christina Lauren. And I have never liked a Christina Lauren book. This one, I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just in the holiday spirit and I was really clicking with the setting. Maybe it was the time loop that added a little bit more intrigue, because a lot of Christina Lauren books, I find they're really boring, and this added a different element, but I really enjoyed it. So go watch that vlog if you want to see me actually rave for once about Christina Lauren. Who knows if it'll ever happen again. Another 4-star thriller I read this month was The Party by Robin Harding. This is about a 16-year-old birthday party that quickly devolves into chaos as the 16-year-old has these new kind of rebellious popular friends that she invites to her sleepover, and they end up sneaking in alcohol, drugs, boys, the works, and a tragedy happens at the party. So the parents go downstairs to the basement to check on the girls, and something horrible has happened. They don't know how it's happened. They think their daughter is like a wonderful, amazing girl, but she's made these kind of sketchy friends. And then drama ensues, the neighborhood drama.
The lawyers, the trials, the tribulations, the drama, the secrets,
It was everything, okay? If you're looking for a dramatic domestic thriller, very much Little Fires Everywhere, very much Lisa Jewell, but set in America, highly suggest The Party by Robin Harding. It wasn't like mystery, like there was nothing you were really trying to figure out. It was just fun to watch the like unfolding of these events and the drama. Like when I was talking about the drama, you have to have like care about the characters to have the drama be effective. That's this. I cared about the characters. I felt for every single character. It made me have those like moral dilemma, could go this way, could go that way, that I was having when I read Little Fires Everywhere. This just wasn't quite as impactful. The drama was a little bit more petty. It wasn't like this huge, like important case like we're following Little Fires Everywhere. This is more like petty suburban drama, so I didn't feel that it was that important, although I did have fun reading it. 4 stars instead of 5 stars, you know the drill. And the last 4-star book I have on this list is actually a 4.5 stars. It was just right on the edge of being a 5-star, and that is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. I got this as my December book of the month and I was really excited to read it. It is a thrilling, modernized retelling of Jane Eyre, which is of course written by Charlotte Bronte, and she's a classic. So this is like a I'm gonna snatch your life bitch story, which we all know I like, kind of a la The Last Mrs. Parrish, which is one of my all-time favorite books that I've read. So this is another wonderful domestic thriller about a girl who's kind of has a sketchy past, no money, she's down on her luck, and she makes her way into this rich, bougie, suburban area, which isn't that what we're all trying to do, let's be honest. So I love these type of stories, and this one was done really well. I feel like the secrets were really well done. There was a lot of like sketchy things going on. We didn't know about people's past. There were murders that we don't know what's happening. There are secrets, are people, we don't know if their motivations are good or bad. I don't know. It was a wild ride. And this was so short. This was under 300 pages and it was so effective. I really like, you know, mommy drama stories too. So the whole suburban drama, like ladies sitting around drinking wine, planning their, you know, beautification committee meeting. That could be boring for other people and I get that, but for me that just hits. I don't know. I love reading about rich people who care about stupid things. It's hilarious to me. It is hilarious. Like when Kim Kardashian, her diamond earring fell off in the ocean in Bora Bora and she was crying.
My diamond earring came off in the ocean and it's gone. Kim, there's people that are dying. I just told you
anyone
that.
would be
fine.
annoyed. Girl, go buy another. Like, why are you crying? I don't know the things rich people cry about and get so like worked up about. I'm like, girl, go buy another. You're fine. Oh my God, you're in Bora Bora. Why are you crying? Okay, anyway, wonderful book. Really highly recommend it. Okay, y'all, now let's talk about my five-star books of this month. The first one's gonna be a big shocker, I think. If you're a loyal subscriber of this channel, you know that Christina Lauren is not my favorite, so it's already like a big deal that I gave one of their books a 4-star this month. My first 5-star book is My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know what it is about this book, but I absolutely loved it. This is one of my favorite romances ever. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so quirky. I absolutely loved the main characters and I loved their love. I loved this book so much. So this is a friends to lovers story. Basically there's a group of nerdy little professors at this college and they're like a little friend group. It's 4 guys and a woman and they are all having trouble finding life partners. So they join this dating app and the woman and one of the guys in the friend group actually get matched on the dating app. So they start secretly seeing each other. And oh my God, I didn't think that friends to lovers was gonna be my thing, but it is so sweet. It is so sweet. And I loved the way that the chapters alternated, where we got the perspective of our female character and then the male, female, and then the male, because you got to hear the way that they talked about each other to other characters and like their inner thoughts about each other, and it was just so sweet and I was crying. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute. It's so cute. I can't get over it. It's so cute. So I really loved it. I highly recommend it. Me highly recommending a Christina Lauren book. I mean, did you ever think that would happen? I sure didn't.
Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. I gave this one 5 stars. It's an isolated setting, kind of like One by One and The Hunting Party, where a group of people go on vacation. These are all strangers though, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Someone gets murdered, people are getting picked off, somebody's a murderer there, you're trying to figure out who it is. Y'all, I kept guessing who I thought the killer was gonna be, and she kept eluding me. Every single time I thought I predicted the killer, it was a red herring, and that person died immediately after. It was so good. The vibes were everything. The aesthetics were everything. Oh my God, the atmosphere of this book. Please read this when it's cold. If you live in a snowy place, please read this. It is so good. So, so good. Unpredictable, thrilling, intriguing. The characters are so interesting. I loved it so much. This month, I also gave 5 stars to The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. This is following a young girl named Lenny. Her father was an army veteran and he gets back from Vietnam. One of his closest friends actually died in the war and leaves in his will his home in Alaska to Lenny's father. So Lenny's father moves their entire family to Alaska, and they're living in this isolated setting, which they kind of underestimated the landscape and how it is to actually live in such a harsh climate. And on top of these survival elements, the father is suffering a lot from PTSD. He has a lot of anger management problems, and he's not getting the therapy and the services that he needs. I forgot to mention this is a historical fiction, so it takes place in the 70s, 60s, 70s. So that's a great issue to draw attention to, was the lack of help for veterans suffering from PTSD during these times. So I really loved that rep. But the father unfortunately does become abusive. So it's about her mother and Lenny trying to escape and live with a very volatile man. And it is heart-wrenching. The writing is beautiful and heartbreaking, and oh my God, you're just listening to the story of this girl where so much is going wrong, but she still finds these little joys in her life. And once it gets like going, and Lenny grows up a little bit, because you do follow her until she's an adult woman, just wow. The things that she goes through and the drama. I was not expecting this book to be drama. I thought it was just going to be sad, 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 break my heart. And it definitely was that, but also the drama was kind of spicy, I do have to say. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's one of my very favorite books that I read, certainly this month. Now we're getting down to my top 2 books of the month. The first one is Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. Jess from Books Past Bedtime actually sent this to me because she was my secret Santa in a gift exchange that we did for her book club. So thank you so much, Jess. I absolutely loved this book so much. Y'all know this is the second book in the Brown Sisters rom-com trilogy. And this is a rom-com about Dani Brown, the second Brown sister. And y'all know I loved Get a Life, Chloe Brown, the first book in this trilogy. It was in my top books of 2020. Absolutely loved it. So I love this one, not as much as Chloe Brown, because I think I connected with Chloe's character a little bit more. But oh my God, this relationship is so cute. This is another friends to lovers. Wow, does she have a new favorite trope? Maybe so. Between this professor, who is Dani Brown, and Zaf, the security guard who works in her building. So they are just, you know, chilling. They're friends. They kind of have feelings for each other, and they end up going viral. A video of them goes viral on Twitter, and everyone thinks they're together and they're couple goals, so they end up fake dating. And I love fake dating tropes. So this had friends to lovers and fake dating, and it was a recipe for success. I absolutely loved their relationship. It was really cute, and it didn't have the kind of annoying miscommunication that happens at the very end of Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This had a very real conflict where both of these characters are dealing with their own trauma, but they're very self-aware in the way that it affects them. And both of the characters, you know, apologize and own up to every action that they do and how it affects the other person. I love the way that Talia Hibbert writes her characters, especially her male love interests, to be extremely emotionally intelligent and self-aware, because that is the type of man that we should be romanticizing. Someone who goes to therapy, figures out his trauma, and is self-aware. And finally, drum roll please. My top favorite book that I read this month was The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. Oh my God. This is my favorite book I read all year. And I know it wasn't in my top 20 favorites of 2020 video, but that's because I already filmed it before I read this book. This was a sleeper pick that came right at the very end. I read it in the last few days of the year. And y'all, I loved this book. I loved it so much. It's beautiful, first of all. Hello. look at her. Stunning, stunning. This is a YA contemporary story that follows Michael. He is a mixed race boy who is figuring out his identity, and that goes for how he identifies culturally and for his sexuality. So he's kind of going on a journey of self-discovery, and we're along with him from when he's very, very young, probably like 4 or 5 years old, all the way through college. And something that really helps him identify with his identity and self-discovery is the art of drag. He gets involved in the drag club at his college and he becomes drag queen, and it is really amazing to see that transformation and how the art of drag really helps Michael along his journey. It's also written in verse. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this book is written in verse and it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I highlighted so much in this book. Oh my god, let me just find like a good little highlight that I can read you. Okay, see, I just flipped to a random page, and also I highlighted in pink because, you know, the black flamingo. So this is one of the paragraphs that I highlighted. I have never felt Cypriot enough. I remember back to Cyprus and how I even felt like an outsider within my own family. So I thought that was really poignant, and something we don't hear a lot about is the mixed race experience. Michael talks about a lot how he never feels Greek enough, but he never feels black enough. So he's kind of grappling with these two cultures and these two very prominent sides of him, and he never feels like he fully fits in. So it's really wonderful to see his journey and how he lives out both of these cultures in his life. And oh my god, I just want to hug Michael. I literally love him so much. I love you, Michael. I love you. I want to be your friend, and I want to hug you, and I want to see you do your drag show. So yeah, that was a very easy 5-star for me. Most wonderful book I read this year. It brought me so much joy, and it's so important. The representation was amazing. The writing was amazing, beautiful. The story was wonderful. Everything was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. Whew! That was a lot. 22 books wrapped up twice, but you're only seeing the second time around. So y'all, I had a lot of jokes. I feel like I was making jokes the first time around and y'all didn't even get to see them. I don't remember them. I don't plan out these videos. I just kind of speak, and I'm out of breath. My voice hurts. I've been talking for like an hour and a half. Y'all, I'm tired. This took it out of me, bro.
Is this how people feel like after they give a TED Talk? I feel like I've been giving a TED Talk.
Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this wrap up video, and if you did enjoy it, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I have some really fun and exciting things coming up this year in 2021, so I hope you stick around for that, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.